What's up, PlayStation Nation? This is the Allworld-Gamer, and the long-awaited Update 13 is finally here. New event this time, but we got some new in-game content, Dark Sectors, Melee 2.0, some new weapons, and a ton of other changes and additions that I'm going to cover in the future. But today, I'm going to show you the most efficient way to farm the new Hydroid Warframe. The first thing you'll notice when you log in is an email from the Lotus giving you a quick breakdown of the situation and a key blueprint for the Vahek Frequency Triangulator. This key is going to give you direct access to the new Vahek assassination mission. In order to craft this key, you'll need to gather 4 different types of beacons which drop off a new enemy, the Prosecutors, which can be found on any of the new shipyard tile sets on Ceres. There are 4 different types of beacons that you'll need to create your key. The Gamma, Kappa, and Omega beacons are fairly common. Delta beacons are extremely hard to find. I had the worst luck with these as I did 4 defense missions and got 0 Delta beacons. However, when I switched to Nuovo, the survival mission on Ceres, I got 4 beacons within the first 10 minutes. Now, in order to get these beacons, you have to kill the Prosecutors. The Lotus will alert you when a Prosecutor spawns. One Prosecutor will spawn at a time and will be vulnerable to one elemental type. As long as you have the proper elemental, they die relatively quickly. If you don't, however, they'll take 0 damage. The Prosecutors are only vulnerable to the 4 basic damage types: heat, cold, electricity, and toxin. They won't take any damage from combined elemental types like radiation. So 2 tips here. If you're going to be running with a group, have each person bring a different elemental type. If you're going to be doing this alone, or possibly with some randoms, I recommend you put 1 elemental type on each of your different weapons. So for example, you could do heat on your primary, cold on your secondary, electricity on your melee weapon, and you could put toxin on your sentinel. Yep, your sentinel. If you've modded it decently at all, it'll be able to kill a Prosecutor. And finally, I highly recommend that you bring a Necros for those extra chances that pull on that Delta beacon. Okay, so quick summary. You need to make the key in order to get the Vahek. In order to get the key, you need to find the beacons. To get the beacons, you've got to kill the Prosecutors, and in order to kill the Prosecutors, you need basic elemental damage. Also note that the Prosecutors give off an aura that will give the enemies in the area the same armor as them. I highly recommend Nuovos on Ceres for this. It was like night and day as far as Delta beacon drops. So now that you've crafted your key, which took an hour to make, you're now ready to face Vahek. Vahek is the one who has the new components for your Hydroid Warframe. As you race towards the final room, Vahek will pop in intermittently to harass you. You'll have to deal a certain percentage of damage to get him to go away. With Vahek's new form, he doesn't take any damage until he stops to remove the armor from his face. A well-timed Rhino Stomp will trap him in stasis so you can do some extra damage. After a few rounds of his harassment, you'll reach his final room for 1 more round of face shots before he takes his final form. Even in his final form, he's still vulnerable to Warframe abilities and can be trapped in stasis by Rhino Stomp, as long as he's not already in the air. In his final form, his entire body is vulnerable to damage. Just watch out for things that are exploding and falling and you should be okay.
Thank you, Tenno. It should be a long time before we hear Vahek's ugly voice again. Now get to extraction.
And last but not least, you're going to need 3 Argon Crystals to make your Hydroid Warframe. These crystals can drop in the Vahek assassination mission and in the Orokin Void. Very important to note that these crystals do not last forever, and they will disappear from your inventory after the time limit runs out. So make sure when you get them, you put them to use right away. So that's how it's done. Pretty lengthy process. Better to run with a group so that you can all use your keys together. And depending on your component drops with Vahek, it'll probably take you about 4 or 5 hours to farm all the materials needed to make them. So that's it for today. So much more stuff to come with Update 13. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because I'll be back with more Warframe.